Welcome, everyone, to Burgess Power Hour today. If you're on the other side of the world, hello and welcome. Those of you who are on the call, I'm going to leave you on as far as being able to hear you. So if you have any background noise, please hit *6 or just mute your phone. Therefore, we won't hear any of the background noise, but of course, when it's time to talk and interact, as you know, if you've heard any of these calls, some of you are regulars, I hear, which is awesome. But if you've never joined us before, or if you've never taken any of the programs or workshops that we do throughout the world, we're very interactive, so we love to hear from you. And so if you want to speak or say something, you can hit *6 again, and that will unmute you. So I'm going to leave the lines open. Just be mindful of your background noise, please. So today is all about give as you go and create a flow, how to create more abundance and wealth. So this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, and because I've been through a lot myself, and I know a lot of you have been through perhaps ups and downs throughout your life around how much abundance you have or how much money you have and creating a flow. So I just want to give you how this is going to work, is I'm going to give you some information. We're going to do a little bit of work on your own inner self, and we'll come up with some ahas for yourself tonight. And then we'll wrap it up with an actual, I'm going to give you an assignment if you choose to do so, and hopefully that will put you in motion and focus on things in your life that you want to create more of, which is the money and abundance. That's what we're talking about tonight. Give as you go and create a flow. So that's kind of how it's going to go. So if you have things that come up during the call or you want to share, that's great. Just, again, hit *6 and that'll unmute you, okay? So what do I mean by give as you go and create a flow? Well, those of you who do know me and those of you who have heard this story before, you know where I have been before. And for those of you who have never met me or have never heard the story, I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. Basically, not long ago, I was bankrupt. I'd lost my businesses. I had lost my house. I was divorced. I had a 2.5-year-old son, and I was a single mom, just trying to make ends meet. I was teaching, and I was doing all kinds of acting and all kinds of things to try to create my income-producing life again, because I had lost everything. So I was pretty down and out. And really all I had to my name was one car with one headlight with one door that didn't work. And I remember, like it was yesterday, crawling into the windowsill, going into the window because my door didn't work. So I had to crawl into the door through the window to drive to get in the car. So it was not a fun time for me as far as that goes, although I'm going to share with you what has happened since then and how I jump-started myself into a trajectory that hasn't slowed down yet. There are a few bumps that come up, like the housing bubble and all of those things, but you know what? It's always a good time to create cash. It's always a good time to create money and have money. Now, I don't mean create it in your garage or in your basement, okay? That's a little illegal these days. So I'm talking about creating it from pure intention and due diligence. In other words, it's consistent action that really does help with getting yourself out of a rut, getting yourself into a groove again. And here's how I did it. So what I did from that point, now, of course, I have millions in assets, and I've been teaching all around the world, and I have worked with thousands of people around, not just about money, of course, and abundance, but with relationships and purpose and all of those things in life that make it worthwhile to live. And My motto is, if I can help one person know that they're important and that they make a difference, then I've done my job here. So that is my why I keep doing these things, okay? So if you don't have a good why, number one, if you don't have a good why about why should I change the way I'm doing things, or why would I want to do anything different than I'm doing, then you're not going to change, because people don't want to change. I mean, change is scary. And as people have written for decades about habits and about consistent action and how important that is, and about having plans and all of these things that you can read about, and you've probably taken a million workshops about investments and how to do all of that with a mindset. But I'm going to give you a real concrete way to do this, because what I did is I had 4 buckets. And now they weren't literal buckets, because I've told this before, and people go, you really had buckets in your house? No. But I had 4 areas, okay, that I would put whatever it is, whatever income-producing thing I had, okay, I would put them, I'd divide them up. So one bucket was my saving bucket. Another bucket was my investment bucket. Another one was my spending bucket. And we all know what that bucket looks like, right? And the other bucket was my giving, or my tithing, or whatever you want to call it. And remember, tonight is all about understanding the concept and moving through that. Give as you go and create a flow. So that's what I did, was I primed my pump. And those of you who probably have no idea what I'm talking about, the pumps, they prime it. You push it and you push it and you push it until the water comes out. So money is like priming a pump, or abundance, or wealth, or the mindset. So what I would do when I was down and out, basically, and, was scrounging around for all kinds of things. I mean, I was living with a friend of mine, so I did have a place to actually hang my hat. I just didn't have anything else, and I felt very, very useless. So, and I had a good why. I had my 2.5-year-old son. So everything was, I did everything for him. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go the route that I went by losing everything and having to start all over, but no matter where you're at in your process, no matter where you're at in your flow, just remember that the way that I jump-started it and kept priming my pump is I would give. I would give my way to prosperity. And what I mean by that is, for instance, there I was trying to make ends meet, and somebody would need $1 for something. So I would have $1. So I said, okay, here's $1. So I would give whatever I had that I felt I could give. Even if I felt like I couldn't give it, I gave it anyway, and I gave it free. In other words, there's no strings attached. And what that did for me is it put me in a totally different frame of mind, and it made me feel good about what I was doing, because I felt abundant. I felt, for that moment, I felt like I could offer something to the world and I wasn't useless. I could give somebody something that they didn't have, or that maybe they needed. And so it shifted my whole feeling place around, wow, I'm abundant and I'm useful, and I'm actually, helping somebody do something that maybe they needed it, maybe they didn't. But that wasn't my concern. My concern was, how did I feel? And I didn't give it as a lot of people will do. They'll say, well, I know it's all coming back. I'm going to give this because I know it'll come back to me in some way. Yes, that can be certainly a concept that you can live by, but it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. For me, it can be, I don't want to give it with the intention or the attachment that I'm going to do this in order for me to be abundant. What I did and what I do is I give to people, And that with no strings attached, with nothing that I'm not asking for anything in return. And if I give cash, it's not like I'm saying to the universe or God or to anybody else, saying, hey, look what I did. Now I deserve it back. Because you can get a little bit trapped in that whole philosophy of, hey, I give and give and give. When is it going to be my turn? Why isn't it coming back to me? So if you keep asking, why is it not coming back to me, then, of course, that's what you're focusing on, that is not coming back to you. Therefore, you're going to create more of that. So it's a fine line to walk. So if you're going to give something to someone, whether it be your time, your energy, your love, your money, it's all energy anyway. So when you give from the point of wonder, from the point of joy, from the point of this is shifting how I feel about me. And so you allow the universe just to kind of have that. And yes, indeed, of course, the bigger picture is perhaps you're going to get things, what goes around comes around. All of those philosophies seem to make sense. However, when you're doing the actual giving, please do it from the place of, I'm really helping this person, or I'm feeling more abundant, or I'm choosing to create a flow, and it's all making me feel better. Okay? So when you tithe or you give, you feel more abundant. You want to give to people or things or organizations or different places or however you want to do it. It's got to make your heart sing. And it doesn't have to be the specific, I know that tithing, sometimes people call 10%. It doesn't have to be that. And what I've taught my son is, look, even if it's just a little bit, you give a little, save a little, invest a little, spend a little. Or now I'm telling him, save a lot, give a lot, invest a lot, spend a lot. So wherever you want to go with that. But I've taught him, and hopefully this will help you with your buckets. Those are the 4 buckets to use: saving, giving, investing, and spending. And I'm going to break that down for you so you know what I'm talking about and my definition of what that is. So saving, a bucket of saving, whatever, let's say that you make, let's keep it really easy, $1,000. You make $1,000 a month, okay? So let's say that I put $200 into savings. Now, savings means that I don't touch it. I live off the interest. Don't ever touch the principal. Savings means you have a savings account. I'm not talking about putting money into the bank, because we all know, especially in the U.S. or anywhere really, that's not the best place as far as interest. Now, Einstein, remember, said compound interest is the greatest invention of mankind. I think he was kidding, but he said it's a powerful force. Definitely a powerful force to have. So if you find an account, it can be a savings account in a money market, or you can put it in just something that earns interest, okay, and hopefully as much interest as possible. But the deal is, don't use the principal. Just put it away. Get into the habit. Remember what I said, consistent action. So every month, no matter what you make, whether it be 10%, 1%, 5%, you decide. You put a percentage of whatever you make into a savings vehicle, and don't touch it. It's not there. And this kind of goes along with one of the other tools I give people in the Essence of Abundance classes that I teach is you put a $100 bill in your pocket or in your wallet or in your purse, and you have a $100 bill, and that $100 bill, you never use it. It's just always with you. So by having that, it's just a fun little game to play with yourself, to say, you know what, I could buy that. I could buy that. I could buy that. I could choose to spend it there. I could do that. You don't spend it, you just have it. So it allows that feeling place. I'm going back to that crazy feeling place of, you know what, I'm not totally broke, or I'm not destitute, or maybe you're already a millionaire. That's fine too. But if you want to go to the next step or the next level, then that's a way to do it, is you always have something with you so that you never feel like you're without. So that goes along with the same kind of thought about saving. You always have it, don't use it. Okay? And that's a tough one for some people. They say, well, why have it if I can't use it? Well, you live off the interest eventually. Okay? And you always want to have 3 months or to 4 months. Some people say 4 of living expenses. In other words, if something happened, you have at least 4 months cushion in your savings. Okay? That's a savings bucket. Then you have an investment bucket. Now, the investment bucket's different than the savings bucket. The investment bucket is what you can play with. There's your multiple stream of income, which I'm going to get to in a minute about the bathtub theory, okay? But you have an investment bucket where you will use that cash, or you put a little bit of whatever you make into that segment, into that account, into that bucket, whatever you want to call it, and you use that to invest. Now, you can invest in people, you can invest in business, you can invest in projects, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in stocks and bonds and all those things. Something that will give you a return is an investment. Okay? So you basically can build that up. So let's say even if it's $1 or $100 or whatever it is every month you put into that account, then you have it building so that if you feel drawn to investing in something or somebody or some event, let's say, then you know that you can because you're going to be building on it. Because how many times, I don't know about you, but this has happened to me, how many times have I let an opportunity pass me by that I thought, if only I had whatever, the amount I needed, then I could have gone into this deal and, wow, look at what's happened from it. And I didn't have it. I didn't have it to give. I didn't have it to spend. So there's a saying about that. It's dig your well deep before you need to drink it. Because you want to come out of choice, not desperation. So by having an investment strategy or just even an investment bucket or account, it helps you dig your well deep before you need to drink it so that you can come out of choice when things come by you, when you have an opportunity. So many missed opportunities have happened for me that it's, you look back and you go, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. So again, going back to consistent action, and these 4 buckets can keep you focused on that consistent action. So you have your investment bucket, and it's okay to be in debt. You can have good debt and bad debt. And I didn't understand that for a while, but there's such a thing as good debt and bad debt. If you have bad debt, that makes you feel bad. That makes you feel guilty. A lot of people, if you're in debt, okay, it brings up and makes you feel icky. It makes you feel, I don't know about, maybe it doesn't, but for most people, you feel bad about it, and you start beating yourself up because it feels oppressive, and it feels heavy, and it's hard to move and create and thrive and be happy and choose life and choose another path when you're beaten down. So when you're guilty, when you're feeling guilty about being in debt, remember, guilt demands punishment. You're either guilty or innocent. So if you're feeling guilty, you are going to create things, or things are going to come to you that are going to punish you. So you'll either self-sabotage yourself, and I think most of us know what that means. We're going to self-sabotage ourselves, or we're going to create somebody to do that to us, okay, so that we basically will feel guilty and we're getting punished. So the bad debt is things that basically do not make you earn your in other words, like if you buy a car, that's bad debt. Okay? Meaning that if you have credit card debt, or if you have debt that's basically not going to pay anything back to you, that's considered bad debt. Good debt is something that you're basically, it's giving you a return. Even though you have debt, I mean, of course, the classic is real estate. You can have a mortgage. It's a very small amount of money, but you have this debt, but you could sell it, and could create more than what you had in the first place. I mean, that's your classic good debt kind of scenario. Okay, so, but if you have a lot of bad debt where it's not putting money in your pocket, then you could feel guilty about that, and that is going to really affect your choices that you make, okay? So I'm going to get back to the bathtub theory in just a minute. I just want to finish the buckets, and then we're going to go, I want to have you write down some things about the go as you flow. I want you to see what's inside your unconscious belief systems around giving, okay? So that's your investment bucket. And I'm going through these very quickly, I know, but I teach Essence of Abundance about all of this, go into depth about it, and then, of course, Essence of Being covers the entire thing. So, but I wanted to give you some specifics you can work with until next time. So the tithing or the giving bucket, remember what I said? It has to make your heart sing. So consistent action is the key. See, God or the universe, it doesn't need to receive anything, okay? Humans need to give. Human beings need to give, okay? But the universe really doesn't need to receive. If you can allow receiving in your life, then that unblocks so many things. It unblocks that dam you might have that's not creating a flow for you. And I know some of you have heard this before, that not receiving is spiritually inappropriate. It's socially acceptable to not receive. However, it's spiritually inappropriate because the universe, God, Great Spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't need anything from you. Okay? So it's spiritually, if you want to call it spirit, it's spiritually inappropriate to not receive. So those of you who are graduates who haven't taken Passionate Manifestation, which is coming up, we have a whole day of receiving, of learning how to receive and opening that up. So that is key when you are trying to create a flow. It's a give, you give, but you have to learn how to receive. Because if you don't receive, you're blocking that flow. Either way, whether you don't give it or don't receive it, it's blocking you. You know, Rockefeller gave away 10% first. He had all that income coming in, and he gave away 10%. That's the first thing he did. So one of the unexpected incomes that comes from giving, I was in an environment. I was working with Robert Kiyosaki. I was working with him out in, I don't remember where we were, Arizona or someplace. No, I don't know. Maybe it was Texas. And we were working on something, and I said I wanted to have unexpected income. And I was open to receiving that unexpected income. So I did an unexpected income kind of strategy where I would, every day, I would say, I'm choosing unexpected income. It's coming my way. I can't wait till it comes. I know it's coming. And I set that up every day. I said, I'm waiting for my unexpected income. I know it's coming. So what I did is I gave to the Special Olympics, for instance. That was one of made my heart sing. So I gave money to the Special Olympics. And when I got home from working out west, there was a check waiting for me in my box, and it was from someone that I knew that was in the Special Olympics, actually, that sent me cash that was in my mailbox, which kind of blew me away because I thought that doesn't normally happen when it correlates like that. I mean, it doesn't normally, if I give to some person or some organization or some foundation, or that doesn't necessarily come back to me that way, okay? But that was a direct correlation, and it just was in my mailbox when I got home. Totally unexpected, didn't know it was going to happen, blew me away. And it was that instant. So that's a real gift you can give yourself, to keep saying, I'm expecting unexpected income, which is an oxymoron, I know, but you just don't know where it's going to come from, and it's kind of exciting. Just let it fill your juices up. And so when you give money, or you give somebody something that they don't have or that they could use that you have, it really can help set you free of all the encumbrances you may have had where you felt heavy and you felt useless and you felt like things just weren't working out exactly the way you wanted to. So it really does shift your feeling place and your dynamic about how you feel about yourself. And as I teach always, the most powerful force we have is what we say to ourselves and believe. It comes from within. It comes from within, knowing that we are important and that we do make a difference. And it makes you feel good to know that, right? So those are the 4 buckets. Give, save, invest, spend. I'm not going to even talk about spending. We all know how to do that. So what I'd like for us to do is to do a little bit of what I call stream of consciousness writing, where you just can either write about it or think about it. Maybe you're driving, but think about it or write this down so you can kind of maybe have some ahas about some fears that you might have around money and about abundance, and also what you may have learned from your parents, because I do a lot of work with belief systems. And sometimes our belief systems are not ours. We take them on because that's what we grew up with, okay? So, and then I'll get back to the bathtub faucet theory, because it's a powerful demonstration of how to create multiple streams of income, okay? Okay, so what this means by stream of consciousness writing is you just don't let your mind figure it out or try to edit what you want to say. You just write down the first things that come up, or just think about the first things that come up, and you keep writing and you'll have some ahas, okay? So the first one I want you to just, it's basically you're going to fill in the blank. You're going to, I'm going to say a statement and you're going to finish it, okay? So this will be, I'll give you a few, like a minute in between each one of these so you can kind of feel your way through this, okay? My fear of receiving money is, my fear of receiving money is, and just start writing or thinking. Okay? Just finish up on what your thoughts are about that. And another one would be, my fear of having money is, and again, you can be a bazillionaire and you might want to go to the next level, okay? So this would be appropriate for you as well. My fear of having money is okay. Finish up on that one. And then the last one is my fear of giving money is. My fear of giving money is. And finish up on the one you're on. And then there's one more piece I want to add here for you to really go to. And it is about your parents. What I learned about money from my parents are, and you can do them separately if you want, or put them together. What I learned about money from my parents are, okay. So finish up on that. And the first thing I want you to notice is there a pattern? Is there a theme? And then I want you to notice what you learned from your parents. Does it feel similar to what you believe now, or to what you wrote down as your fears? So, does anybody want to share anything about that? Anybody have any ahas or correlations or thoughts about any of that?
I do, actually. This is Julie.
Hey, Julie.
I have a reoccurring theme that continually, like, for some reason I can still not get rid of it.
Okay.
And it's pretty much that I'm going to run out, and that you have to work hard in order to make it. So it's always this I'm going to run out theme.
Mm-hmm. And where did you learn that from?
I don't know.
Did you hear that? Was that an energy that you heard or felt or lived from childhood?
I know that there was definitely, like, I never had a struggle per se, like I always had, but it was not an easy. I could hear, like, my parents arguing, or I could see that they were, like, struggling at times. Mm-hmm. And so you have to work hard. So that did they work hard? My dad did, and then he ended up going into some depression over it. Right. So at some level, he definitely had a harder time because I'm sure he felt that pressure of having to take care of his family. Right. And I tend to have the exact same pressure and responsibility that I need to take care of everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm actually bringing. Well, that's the exact experience that I'm actually having. My husband works, but he doesn't make any money. So it seems like it's constant me having to figure out a solution, no matter how much I let go or do all the, things you learn about. It's that constant fear that, I'm going to run out. Yeah. Not going to have enough. Right. Not having enough. And so that fear of not having enough, whether it comes from, certainly it's a learned belief that you've taken on, and your belief is that you have to work hard because your dad did, but you got to see what happened to him when he worked hard, so you have this catch-22, right, feeling about that. And the fact that there's not enough or afraid there's not going to be enough, it keeps you working hard. Is that true? Yes. Yeah. And it gets really tiring. And if you're in constant fear that there's not going to be enough, okay, what are you focusing on? The not enough? Or yeah, it's definitely an underlying belief, like a limiting belief. Mm-hmm. Even though I'll do the affirmation of, everything always works out, or I'm open and receptive to receiving, and I feel like I've been doing a lot of that kind of work, but and I've even done an exercise where I've written down similar things to what I just wrote down, and the same things, even if I sit here and try to think harder, is there something else that I'm missing, but it's the same exact theme, and I'll rip it up, and I'll be like, okay, we're done with that. Moving on. Moving on. Right. It's rearing its ugly head, huh? Right, and, it's funny because I feel I do give as I go, not as much as I would like to, partially because I think I'm going to not have enough to do for the basic necessities of my family. Mm-hmm. I watch my husband. He's the biggest giver. He would give the shirt off his back. He's that kind of person. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't get anything in return. It's bizarre. Mm. Okay. So you have had evidence in your life through your parents that you have to work hard, and it's a burden to hold that, and that the fear that there's not going to be enough, so you're on this perpetual hamster wheel, and then you got to see your dad go into depression about that, so that even adds to the pressure,
what you're doing is you're living in the future when you think about there's not enough, or there may not be enough, or it's going to run out. That's absolute future thinking. So you are constantly choosing your focus to look at the fear. There may not be enough. I know you're doing the work. It sounds like you are, wanting to really consciously choose differently, but you're right. It's an underlying belief that keeps running you, and unfortunately, in this case, that informs every decision you make. That informs also the resentment that you might have, because that's kind of what I hear. The fact that you're the one having to do it, and then it's a lot of stress on you, and it just seemingly can bring up fear that what if there's not enough? You do have a family, and you want to know, when is it going to be my turn too? When can I just have it flow to me as well?
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, that's future thinking. So, hon, you're doing all the right things as far as your conscious. I'm doing affirmations. Here's a good one for you. You ready?
Mhm.
I am enough. You do enough. You are enough. You're creating enough. You are enough. And it's trust and allow, and don't ask how. You got to see firsthand how it can tear a person apart to have that type of stress and burden.
Mhm.
So trust and allow and don't ask how means that if you say to yourself, I am enough, and you know what, I choose to be present, I have enough, I am enough, and I trust that I will always have enough. That's the big key for you. And that gets you out of your future thinking. Because as long as you're looking into the future, which I know is tough sometimes when you're a mother and you're
I didn't unpack it.
You're always looking at the future.
Mhm.
So,
well, and it's the responsibility aspect of it too,
right,
that a lot on the weight of me.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah.
I feel it. So my offer to you is to allow yourself to be present as much as possible, and just try that one on, honey, is I am enough.
Okay.
And focus on, you know what? I am enough for today. And that's what happened to me, because I gave, even though I didn't feel like I was going to have enough, I gave it anyway.
Right.
Now, and then you get to see your husband who gives all the time, and from your point of view, what you're looking at, that he gives the shirt off his back, and he doesn't get anything back in return, and so you get to see also that doesn't work either. So you've got a lot of evidence around you that you've lived with for a long time. So now it's time to find new evidence. Find new evidence that I'm enough. Find new evidence that life can be easy, and that I'm going to be present today, this moment. And that is going to take consistent action on your part, hon. Every day you look in the mirror, I am enough. Today, I'm going to be grateful for everything that I have and who I am. And I will trust and allow, and don't ask how it's coming. I don't know, but I know it's coming somewhere from somehow. It's a huge trust fall to let go of that responsibility piece in a way that won't make you even more fearful.
Yeah.
So you're not missing anything. You just, I am enough. And I get it that it's coming from all sides, from your past and your present. So you live in your future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I mean, every time I try to do this exercise, I come up with the exact same answer.
There you go.
So I'm like, I know exactly what it is, and I think I'm just, I see the proof. So.
What's holding it, hon, is you're thinking of the future. You're in the future around that, but it's an emotional attachment of basically of not being enough. That's what I feel. And the kind of work that we do in our classes and our programs is we get to that core of that I'm not enough, okay, and we move through that on an emotional, spiritual, all different levels. So you can do mind work like we're doing here all day long, but if you don't go to that emotional attachment that you have around that, then you can stay stuck in that.
Right.
Okay? So I highly encourage you to come to any of our live events, of course, that seems to help propel people through. However, hopefully just by saying I'm enough will help. And focusing on just today. I have enough food today, I have enough clothes today, I have enough, and I am enough. I'm doing enough. And I'm going to trust and allow and don't ask how.
Love it.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So that's a good example of how our belief systems from our past and our families and what we're living now, how it informs every choice that we make. And it's great that if you do the work that we do together and you find out all of these things, you identify what are those beliefs that are limiting you and blocking you from your flow. The next step, of course, is to release that block, okay? So obviously any of the workshops that we do or programs that we do, that's our main goal, is to help people really go wherever they need to go to release that. So I want to talk about the bathtub theory. It's not even a theory. It's another way of allowing yourself to maybe be more present, because as we're talking about our past and our present and our future, it's really difficult to be happy in the future. In other words, if you're not present in the moment, it's kind of hard just to, I know it sounds really trite, but, smell the roses. And when I was living in that car, let me tell you, I had a lot of evidence. I had a lot of evidence that things just weren't working out. So I chose to focus on what was working. And I chose to give no matter what, because it made me feel good. And I primed the pump. It may take a little bit, but you don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on priming that pump. Don't give up. Don't give up before the miracle. Take that next step. It's really trusting and allowing that you're going to be taken care of and that all is going to work out, and it does. It may not be on your time, and it may not be the way you want it, but you can probably look at most of your life, somewhere in your life in the past where that's been true, where you thought things were just not working out, and then all of a sudden something happens, and in hindsight, everything had to happen the way it did, or you wouldn't be in the place you're in. Okay, so the bathtub. The faucet, for most people, how they create income and create cash and create streams of income is they look at their one income stream. That's their faucet. So you're turning on your faucet, and that's typically your job or your business. So that's your faucet. So people think, well, if I have a bigger faucet, I'll get more water coming through it, and I can fill up my bathtub faster. So unfortunately, what happens is when you start filling up your bathtub faster, you say, "Oh, I've got to work harder, or I've got to make more money. I've got to go to, change jobs. I've got to do another business. I've got to shut everything down and start all over," or whatever. You look at that one faucet like that's it. So if you think about your income as a bathtub, and the faucet can actually widen. In other words, you don't have just a job or a business. You can have multiple streams coming in. And those are the passive investments, the passive income. I'm not talking about having 20 businesses where you run yourself ragged. Been there, done that. Still kind of doing that myself. But widening that faucet, creating passive income where it works for you, your money works for you. You are the employer. You're not working for money. Your money's working for you. It is your employee. So if you allow your money, which is just energy, if you allow it to work for you, instead of you working so hard for it, it'll shift your whole dynamic about cash. So not only do you widen the faucet so that it comes in faster and you have more water coming in, more income coming in without you having to work harder, you have to also fix your leaks. Because unfortunately, many people, even though they think, "Oh, I'll get a different job, and I'll make more money, or I'll get more in business, and that'll create more income," you haven't fixed any of the leaks in the bathtub. It just goes right back out again. So not only do you have to widen your faucet with different streams to make it a faster, more flourishing stream, you also have to fix any leaks that you might have in the tub, because spending can be a leak. And it goes right out the drain. So you've got to look at, where am I leaking? Where's my bathtub leaking? All my spending that I'm doing. I've got to reduce the drain. In other words, you're draining yourself. You work harder and then it goes away, and then you work even harder and it goes away, and you work even harder and it goes away. So it's a never-ending cycle. So I'm going to give you an assignment on some money leaking, so you can see where are my leaks? Where am I leaking money, so you can fix your bathtub? So that it's a two-pronged approach. You've got money coming in, income coming in, and remember, creating passive income where your money's working for you. That's your investments. Network marketing is a good tool. Real estate is a good tool. Having a business, investing in other people's business, royalties, stocks and bonds, things that will produce an income for you that is making money without you having to do it. Okay? Thinking outside the box. Give yourself permission to go outside the box to widen your faucet. Now, here's the assignment about your money leaks. If you choose to do this, it's going to be very interesting, I'm sure, for many of you. Okay? So for 2 weeks, just for giggles, for 2 weeks, carry a notepad around with you or in your phone, put your notes in your phone, and keep track of every penny you spend. Divide it into 3 columns: cash, check, and credit cards. Or Bitcoin. No, I'm kidding. Cash, check, or credit cards. So what you want to do, just for fun, and make it a fun thing. Don't make it oh my God, I don't want to do this. Make it fun, okay? It's a game. You're playing the money game. Just note each expense, no matter how small it is. Stick of gum, tank of gas, which is not small, during the 2 weeks, pay attention to whether you're leaking money or not, okay? And what I mean by leaking, it means to permit an expenditure to occur without conscious regard. Meaning, I'll say it again, a leak means to permit an expenditure to occur without conscious regard. In other words, you are unconsciously spending money. And you'll be surprised how many times we do that. So if you commit to doing this exercise to find out where is my money leaking, again, you put cash, check, or charge. You put just for 2 weeks, do it. That's it. 14 days. Just pay attention. Where did I spend my cash today? Where did I spend a credit card? Did I write a check for this? Where is it going? And so after the 2 weeks are finished, ask yourself, when did I go unconscious about spending money? When did I go unconscious? What time of day was it? Was I in a particular mood? Can you notice and identify, wow, I had no idea I spent that much today. What was going on with me today? Is it a certain time of day every day that I do that? On what items do I spend unconsciously? What am I spending unconsciously? Is there a certain kind of item that I do, that I spend? Are they items that I really want at the time I buy them, or am I just unconsciously buying them? And do I get my money's worth out of them, or do I just let them lie around unused? A lot of times people will spend money to avoid pain. Think about it. When you're in pain about whatever it is, you'll go out and eat, or go buy a new dress, or go buy some candy, or go buy something. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to feel it. I just want to avoid the pain. This will help you really get clarity around where you're unconscious, around money. And it'll help you fix your leaks. So ask yourself, if I fix my money leaks, what will happen to the time I used to earn it? Will I have more time in my life? Is it possible for me to work less or smarter and have more of what I truly want? That's the goal. So I hope that this helps you with some tools that you can use to get down into some of the nitty-gritty about what your belief systems are. And those of you who are regulars that keep coming to my Power Hour, I'd love to hear, or you just shoot me an email, burge@essenceofbeing.com. Keep me informed about how your progress is going, because I'm curious as to what you come up with. And those of you who, of course, have not seen my videos, you get those 4 free videos. Remember to text 96,000, and you may have gotten them already, but you text 96000, and you put in the message, you put Burge, B-U-R-G-E, and you'll get 4 free videos from me. And that's just for being on the call. And we are going to be, I'm going to be off doing my graduate level work, Passionate Manifestation. Next weekend I'll be in Atlanta doing that. And the weekend after that I'm speaking in Boca at the Emergent Soul Convention, so you can come see me there. And it's going to be in Boca Raton, July 31st through August 2nd. So I'll be a speaker at that convention. And then I do Passionate Manifestation in Florida, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we're actually having an Essence of Being preview, August 2nd, a live one with me in Florida as well. So I'm doing my Florida trip, and then I'll be in Canada for the next Essence of Being, August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And then I'm out of the country for a while. So I really, really encourage you to keep working on these calls, come to any of the classes I'm doing, look on essenceofbeing.com. Check out all of our schedule of events, or you can go to eobinternational.com. eobinternational.com has our events internationally there. And next month, I'm going to be speaking again on August 19th, which is a Wednesday. Remember, it's the third Wednesday of every month, August 19th. And my topic is going to be self-worth, how to allow others to love and support me, my self-worth. How could I allow that? Okay? So that's going to be very special to my heart because that's something I choose to practice every day. And I want all of you to know that what you focus on expands, and I am so thrilled that you took out time for yourself. You invested in your moments of time. It's precious to be with us together, to create something even better than what we have by ourselves. And it takes a community. And I'm thrilled that we have Florida in the house and Georgia in the house and Jersey in the house, and I don't know if other states yet or other countries, but if you're listening on the call, I have got it recorded, and we'd love to have you join us live so I can work with you like I just did with Julie. So without further ado, I would like to have you guys unmute everything so you can say goodbye and say until we meet again. And hopefully I'll see you in Florida. I'm going to be there a while, or in Atlanta next weekend at our graduate level, Passionate Manifestation, where we learn how to receive and manifest. So let me hear from everybody.
Jean Smith from Melbourne. Bye.
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 Bye. Thanks, Burge. Great call. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lord.
You're welcome.
Bye, Burge.
Bye, hon.
Love
See you
you.
soon.
Bye.
Love you too. See you guys soon. I'll be there soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.